beautiful collectors and action figure fans, it's the one and only Optibotimus coming at you with another video review. And on today's episode, we're going to be taking a look at the new TakaraTomy Transformers Legends number 45 of TargetMaster Hot Rod. An update to that Titans Return figure. This guy obviously sports a much different paint job. As the name implies, it includes his Targetmaster and a slightly redesigned front section. For the package, you got that nice open window that fully showcases everything and shows off the Headmaster right there. Got really cool art on the side here with Hot Rod. You got the Transformers, a whole bunch of stuff I can't read. Transformers, spin around to the other side, Transformers, more than meets the eye. Then you come around here to the back, you got a whole bunch of other stuff. You got the little babies, look at the babies here, focus on the babies. These are little babies, they're so cute. And then you got the robot mode, Targetmaster, vehicle mode, a whole bunch of stuff that I can't read. This one was probably lower on my list than Cup, but I was intrigued by what they did differently here with the chest, or here in robot mode, the front section of them. But for the packaging on them, really, that's about it. So without further ado, let's get him out here and see how cool he actually is. Alright guys, so here we have the new TakaraTomy Targetmaster Hot Rod open up out of its packaging and obviously in his vehicle mode. And right up front, you're noticing he's got his Targetmaster plugged into his front section, which is fantastic. What they've done is redesign this little front bit right here. Now, taking a look at the Hasbro one, you can see it's obviously vastly different in terms of the color. But what you see different here is a much more integrated and Targetmaster friendly engine block. Hot Rod's here from the Hasbro one. As you can see, you had the gun, you could take that and you could plug it in there, and you could still actually do that. But it was different than what the original G1 toy. I wonder if that actually fits in there. No, that doesn't fit in there, but I had to try. But you can see that the engine here is different than what, you know, kind of Hasbro went with. Now, you can also see that the colors are kind of across the board. This is a little bit darker than this. This is a little bit more kind of darker than the animation. So this is really one of those, and it's kind of all over the place. This is a little bit more animation accurate still though, and the color that you're seeing here is a little bit more Rodimus Prime-ish, but it's still really very nice. In terms of some of the other differences, you can see that he's got some nice silver painted for his hubcaps, where these are just straight black. You can see that the yellow for the spoiler is a little bit different. This is a little more orangish, and then you got a nice orange stripe that goes right down there. The cockpit section here with the window is a little bit lighter of a blue than what the Hasbro one had, and then you can see that the little red section here actually comes down a little bit further than this one does, which I think actually makes the cockpit look a lot nicer, to be honest. You can see that you got some nice silverish paint here for his exhaust ports, whereas this is very kind of drab. I mean, this isn't super silver. Like when you look at the silver for the hubcaps, it's not as silver as those, but it does have a nice and additional paint done to it. You come to the back and you can see that some of the other changes, because of the desire by Takara to make this a little bit more animation accurate, is that the feet section down here and the knees and everything have been completely redone. When you look at the bottom, you can see that the shins here obviously do carry that forward in terms of creating a more animation accurate look. Again, like I said, this is more designed to look like the toy, I think, but it does utilize some differences. I wonder, because this is the Targetmaster one, I don't know necessarily if the colors are different on what Hasbro released for this, because this I believe is a Takara release. But you can see basically the differences that are going here, and you can even see like this bit right here. So this guy here, I do believe Hasbro's intent was to make this more toy accurate, and this one is meant to be more animation. So setting these off to the side for right now, and then taking a look at Firebolt. Again, he is the exact same as Recoil from Cups. Well, it's not the same figure or anything, but the transformation is the same. Kind of move the arms out, rotate this bit down, rotate him here at the knee, rotate him entirely at the waist. That does spin his head around, and then take this big back section, rotate this back, and then again, this section here is a translucent plastic, so it looks pretty cool. But again, really nice detail in here, some nice blue and then white paint in there. You got some nice silver accents on the entire thing. Or a really cool looking figure. I do like him. His articulation, again, the head is, well, when you have it locked in or down there, it kind of locks it in. So his head only rotates if you rotate him here at the waist, but then when you bring this down, that little peg right there kind of locks everything there, so you don't get much rotation there. The shoulders here are on ball joints. You can move them out like that, rotates 360 degrees. He does have hinges here at the hip. You can see it kind of is loosely attached. It is separate. It's just very tight in there, so as you bring one up, the other one kind of goes up as well. Then he does have ball joints here at the knee. So overall, I mean, really cool. I like these little Target Masters that you're doing, and it is completely different than the Cup one, which is nice as well. Now, as I was talking about, the Target Master version is what I have right here, and much like this one was actually retooled, I talked about a little bit, but this section right here was changed from the original release of Hot Rod to kind of facilitate that little Titan Master or Target Master partner. That's what was done here as well. I mean, I talked about it a little bit, but you can see that this piece right here is now a actual translucent piece, and some people have talked about the concern of that, but what's cool is this actually kind of transforms a little bit differently. Now I'm going to skip the majority of the transformation because it is the exact same except for that little bit, but I'll show that when I get to it. And then you have, oh, well, you have this guy rolling away. Here's a Hot Rod. Now, he, again, was never a Headmaster in the original series. So people have complained about that, and that's fair, but I think that they did a pretty nice job with this. I mean, some nice paint on here, kind of making them actually look like Hot Rod for the most part. Got some nice paint on the head. You got some little chest paint. What I do like is that when you transform them, I love how they actually put paint here on his arm to kind of go with the little ear section there. That's really cool. And then taking a look at the face itself, that's really sharp as well. By comparison, here is the Hasbro one. You can see much brighter color, lacking paint for the little crest piece. You also have the little darker paint here for like these little horn bits. Then you look at the side, big difference there. I mean, you got big giant gray bits right here. None of it is kind of fully painted like the little ear pieces here. So in general, just an overall better representation of the head. And then when you look at the little robot mode, I mean, again, night and day. They are the same mold, they're just much better painted on this guy. So again, you can take this, you can put him in here, you can sit him in there, and he can sit very nicely in the little cockpit. You can also have him stand on the top if you wanted to. I don't know why you would want to, but you can. So transform this guy, set him there. Like I said, the transformation is the exact same, so I'm just I'll kind of go through it just because I won't really focus too much on it. But one thing I will say is that because of the silver paint on here, I am a little bit more cautious when transforming this, because as you remember, this kind of goes over that. So I kind of go a little bit slower and pull that away just so that none of the paint gets damaged. You fold this down, fold that down. Rotate his little hands, pull this out. Now this is the part that gets a little bit different. Now the back section is the exact same. Oh well, rotate. There, that's the same. Now in the Hasbro one, again, I'm gonna set this guy there. Let me get the Hasbro one out here. Now to complete his transformation, remember you took this section here, the front of the car, and you folded this down, and then you folded that down. You can see his little abdomen, but you had a little indentation right there, and then obviously you would bring that up and you put his head on there. This doesn't have that. This is all molded in one piece. So what you do is you bring this down, and then you can leave this, but you now can also rotate that around, giving it a much more accurate looking chest. And then you got these little peg holes right in here. I wonder, did that have peg holes? Yeah, so that utilizes the same peg holes that the original mold had. But what this does is it comes down, slots that in, and then you bring this up, and you have a more accurate looking chest mode, which you know, honestly, I'm kind of on the fence about it. I mean, I like the way that looks. It's a little bit different, and it kind of works for that, but this allows you to keep that full look for the chest, and then you get the bottom section right here, which again is a much more accurate looking representation of how his chest looks, especially like with this. I mean, the animation didn't have that or anything like that, so getting this there and then bringing out the original G1 figure as well, again, you can see where some of those elements that this guy had kind of carry over to what Hasbro was doing, but this does have a lot more of that animation looking kind of aesthetic. Now, I guess I should put the heads on here. So take this guy's head and you plug that in just like that. Get that situated, looking cool. Bring this guy's head. Transformers, head on! There we go. And again, I mean, both look really good. And then you can see another little thing is you got the little engine thing here. Because of the color into that, that definitely does match a little bit better with what they did. I do kind of like that. But you can see some of the other kind of color cues here, whereas you had the like little silver bits here on his shin. You kind of have the silver here. The feet are a little bit more silverish, although, I mean, these are kind of dark in terms of the color, but it works. And then you got the little silver here, you got that. This is just, again, cartoon looking representation. You can see it with the color of the rest of the body, and then you see it here a lot with the shins themselves. A lot of different subtle things. Also, like right here, this little bit right on the kind of forearm, that's a very animation accurate sort of color, whereas obviously this one doesn't have the hands match with the hands there. I mean, his hands are the same color as well, but one thing that I think would have been a little bit more, you know, accurate is if these hands were done in a more gray or silverish plastic or kind of painted differently. One thing that I do wish that they did was figure out a way how to make this slide up to sit up a little bit higher. I mean, as you can see, that sits up very nicely. This, I wish there was something that you could do with this. That was one part about this toy that really, unfortunately, although, does that kind of, I mean, that, what did they do here? That's the, yeah, I think that's the exact same. I don't see why they couldn't have figured out a way, because this is a separate piece here where they could have made that hinge up. I don't know. I mean, I'm obviously not a toy designer, but I think that would have been much better, if you ask me, in terms of a, you know, aesthetical choice. Now, getting this guy out of here, one thing that does end up happening when you don't take this and fold it up is now you do have a bit of a gap. Get this out of the way. You do have that right there, whereas when you take a look, and I'm noticing these joints are a little bit looser, so I'll probably have to tighten that up. I don't think that's obviously anything with fatigue, but these are a much tighter joint. But you can see, because you fold that piece in, it actually kind of fills in that gap, whereas this guy has a hole there now. So again, while I like the look of this, this does get a little bit more aesthetically pleasing in terms of filling some things in. Is it enough to make me not like what they did? No, not really. I mean, I really do appreciate both of these figures for what they are meant to represent. I just think that this one just does look better. I think that Takara has done a terrific job with it. And then obviously you can take get him standing there, get him kind of looking heroic, take his little TargetMaster, flip that, well, rotate that around, where we be transforming, yo. Transformers way up in the sky. So my wife, she has students that actually do know who I am, oddly enough, and they thought that the song was, you know, Transformers more than meets the eye. They thought it was Transformers way up in the sky. That's kind of a joke, I guess. So get that. That's an old joke, but you can get that in there. And again, I mean, that really does look cool. I'm quite happy with how that guy looks. I mean, the colors really aren't 100%, you know, accurate to the animation itself, but I think it looks pretty good. The chains through his chest, I think, is really nice. It does give him more animation looking kind of front section to him. I am curious why they decided to go with a translucent piece, though, to be honest. I mean, as you move it around, you get some of those. I mean, you got some really nice silver paint here on the underside here, and that kind of bleeds through the clear section. I don't know necessarily why they decided to go with a clear one, but it does look nice. And then I do wish that they could figure out a way to make this slide up some. That would be cool. But all in all, I do like the figure. Now, my personal preferences aside, is this figure worth picking up if you already got this guy? I really can't say yes that he is. Obviously, for me, I do like having the more cartoon accurate look. But if you've already spent the money on this guy, I don't think this one is good enough or improves upon that other one enough to warrant that extra cost that I thought Cup did, for example. The Takara version of Cup just infinitely made that figure better. This, it's better, but I don't think it's worth that extra price better. But all of that being said, he's still a really nice figure. And if you didn't get this guy, maybe you were holding out for the Takara one, I do recommend the piece. It just kind of depends on what you want to go with. So, all that being said, if this figure is one that you'd like to add to your collection, he is available right now at Big Bad Toy Store. So all you have to do for that is click on the link down in the video description. You'll go to BBTS where you can check out availability on this guy, as well as the rest of the wide range of TakaraTomy Transformer figures. But beyond that, guys, that's about it. So once again, I want to thank you for tuning in. This has been Optibotimus. Don't forget, as always, if you like this video, let me know. And the best way to do that is to hit that thumbs up button. It really does go a long way towards helping me out, and I would absolutely appreciate it. Also, if you're new here, be sure to subscribe in case you haven't already subscribed. It's free, and you'll get instant email notifications whenever I upload a new video, and you'll never miss out on a future review of mine. And if you don't, little tiny Braun will die. Or if you're already subscribed, now more than ever it's important to make sure that you get those email notifications. We all know just how unreliable that YouTube subscription box is, and the best way to make sure that you never miss a future review of mine is to click on that little bell right below this video and double check your settings to make sure that they're set so that you get those email notifications. And as always, until next time, till all are one. You're at your best when the going gets rough. You've been put to the test.